and in many cases the last time, considering he's not reoffering. We are going to miss you, Mike. Good morning and a warm welcome to everyone who's attending, both those here in person and those who are live streaming in HRM's proclamation ceremony and presentation of the Mel Hebb Hourglass Awards. My name is Sherry Costa Lorenz, and I will be your MC for this event. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a short white teenager with blue eyes, long brown hair, sprinkled with wisdom highlights, sometimes more highlights than wisdom, held in a bun and in place with a Viking sword hairpin, just in case. I'm wearing a long white sleeve blouse with lace, dark blue pants, and white ankle boots. In addition to being the chair for the Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia Committee, I'm also the executive director for the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities, an equity and inclusive organization that has been around for more than 45 years. We champion first voice by using a disability lens and work for equitable quality of life for persons with disabilities. After 37 years, NSLEO continues to lead and coordinate many of the community events that are happening throughout this week. This collaborative work could not be done without incredible partnerships with many disability government and organizations, including, and I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge those because they have been working very hard behind the scenes. We have the Nova Scotia Accessibility Directorate, Nova Scotia Disability Employees Network, HRM, Nova Scotia Human Rights Commission, the Nova Scotia Office of Equity and Anti-Racism, Municipal Accessibility Support Program, Inclusion Nova Scotia, the Disability Partnership, CNIB Foundation, March of Dimes, People First, Reachability, PeopleWorks, the Tetris Society, Planning for Equity, Accessibility, and Community Health Research Unit, Dalhousie, Immigrant Services of Nova Scotia. And if I have missed anyone, my deepest apologies because there are so many who go unrecognized. Later this week, we'll be presenting scholarships to students with a disability during a luncheon that will be hosted here in Halifax. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the contributions of Scotiabank, the Smith family, Casino Nova Scotia, both Halifax and Sydney, as well as Gulf Nova Scotia and the Lund Nova Scotia PEI. Since the scholarships began, we have made more than $250,000 available to students with a disability who are pursuing their post-secondary education. So it's with the deepest of gratitude to all our partners at the table and to all of our sponsors. Thank you. Just a couple of housekeeping items I noticed as I was coming in. If you were looking for the washroom, the women's washroom is the second door on the right as you go out. Men's washroom is the third door on the right. Also, we have CART and ESL available. This is also being live streamed and recorded and will be uploaded to our platforms later on today. I think it's later on today. We'll have to check on that turnaround time for those who are actually doing that piece of the work. If you have any issues or need any kind of assistance, please look for Amanda. Right now, she's in the back by the technical table with the purple streaks in her hair, the beautiful purple streaks in the waves. Hey, Amanda. While we welcome the lifting of restrictions, we also recognize that we are living with COVID and that persons with disabilities and seniors remain the most vulnerable. So although it's not mandatory, we encourage wearing of masks and social distancing. At this point in time, I would like to invite Jared Watton to come up and lead us through the land acknowledgement. Jared.
Galasi and welcome. My name is Jared Watton. I'm the coordinator of Indigenous Outreach and Research with HRM's Office of Diversity and Inclusion. I'm a 28-year-old male with short red hair. I'm wearing a white cardigan with a green t-shirt underneath and black pants and green sneakers today. As we gather here today for Access Awareness Week, it is important that we pause and reflect upon the land on which we meet. This land acknowledgement serves as a reminder that we are all treaty people, and it is our duty to honor the past, acknowledge the present, and work towards a future of respect, inclusivity, and reconciliation. I would like to acknowledge that Halifax Regional Municipality is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Mi'kma'ki, encompassing all of Nova Scotia and beyond, is governed by the Peace and Friendship Treaties, which were first signed between the Mi'kmaq and the British Crown in 1725. These treaties are unique as they did not involve the surrender of lands, but rather were agreements that were meant to ensure a peaceful coexistence and mutual respect. The Mi'kmaq have lived on this land for over 13,000 years. Our culture, language, and traditions are deeply rooted in the landscapes we see today. From the bustling cityscapes of Halifax to the peaceful shores of the Atlantic, every part of this region carries the spirits and stories of the Mi'kmaq people. As we celebrate Access Awareness Week, it is vital to recognize that the concept of accessibility extends beyond just the physical space. True accessibility encompasses social, economic, and cultural aspects, ensuring that members of our community can fully participate in society. The Mi'kmaq have long advocated for equity, justice, and inclusion, and their wisdom and leadership inspires us. In the spirit of peace and friendship, let us all work together to create a community where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, where accessibility is not just a goal, but a reality, and where the rich culture of the and heritage of the Mi'kmaq is celebrated and honored. As we embark of this week of raising awareness about accessibility, let us remember that reconciliation is a continuous journey that requires effort, understanding, and collaboration. Let us move forward with humility, openness, and a commitment to justice for all. Roland, thank you.
Okay, we're obviously different heights. Thank you, Jared. The next introduction is definitely bittersweet, knowing that this will be the last time I have the opportunity to introduce a man who has a deep understanding of disabilities and someone I have the greatest respect for. Mike Savage was elected mayor of Halifax Regional Municipality for a third term on October 17th, 2020. As mayor, he has followed a mandate to grow the economy, foster greater social and economic inclusion for all, and promote a healthy, sustainable environment. An active member of the Federation of the Canadian Municipalities, FCM, Big City Mayors Caucus, BCMC, Mayor Savage was selected by his counterparts from across the country to co chair FCM's Syrian Refugee Response Task Force in 2015. In spring 2021, he was elected chair of the BCMC. Prior to his election as mayor, Mike Savage served 3 terms as Member of Parliament for Dartmouth Cole Harbour, during which time he played a national role as official opposition critic for human resources, social development, and status of persons with disabilities, and chaired the Liberal Party Post Secondary and Research Caucus. Prior to entering politics, Savage was a business leader in Halifax and was involved in numerous community organizations focused on health, the arts, education, and humanitarian work. Mayor Savage.
Thank you very much, Sherry, for the work that you do, and NS Leo, and so many other organizations. I also thank you, Jared, for the acknowledgement, but I want to also acknowledge that we're in Mi'kma'ki, which is the traditional, unsurrendered territory of the Mi'kmaq people, and the peace and friendship treaties that go back to the 1720s are not only um, something that we should have adhered to more closely, but is a roadmap to a better future. And on top of that, this community is the beneficiary of centuries of African Nova Scotian leadership and community building as well. So I'm very happy to be here. I am Mike Savage. I'm mayor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, which is also Jubuktuk to the Mi'kmaq, which means the Great Harbor. And I will describe myself as well. I am a reasonably large but charming uh, white male, close to 60, and by close I mean 64. Um, Same age approximately as Danny Graham, who's just entered the room. You must be getting to the same age pretty soon. Um, so yeah, I'm very happy to be here. In the introduction, I must get a copy of that, by the way. I got to update my resume, and I don't know it all. So you've just told me more about myself than I knew. One of the things I most enjoyed in Parliament when I was an MP was to be part of the HUMA committee, they called it, which meant Human Resources, Social Development, and the Status of Persons with Disabilities. And we produced some really good reports on how to improve life for people and their families with disabilities. Um, a few of which were adopted eventually, but not all by any stretch of the imagination. But I want to welcome you all. Um, Say hello. Don Stegan has joined us, who's an old friend, not an old friend, but a longtime friend, um, and who I know has done a lot of work in this area for the provincial government and other organizations. And I know a lot of you are represented today, activists like Vicky and others who've made a big difference in this community. So I thank you for that. So I am here, and I'm also very pleased to be here with somebody I admire greatly, which is my deputy mayor, which is Kathy Daigle Gammon, who many of you will know headed up Dask Industries in Dartmouth for about 100 years before being elected to council, a job that she is doing absolutely amazing at and is my deputy mayor. So I'm going to ask her to come up while I read this proclamation and be with me. So it's the proclamation for Access Awareness Week, May 26th to June the 1st. Whereas the week of May 26th to June the 1st, 2024 is recognized as Access Awareness Week. Access Awareness Week aims to celebrate achievements made both by and for persons with disabilities in the areas of accessibility, transportation, housing, employment, recreation, education, and communication. And whereas this is the 38th year, is that right? That public awareness initiative has taken place in Halifax. The theme for this Awareness Week is Communities for All, taking action on access awareness. Whereas accessibility barriers are many and interconnected, removing and preventing them is challenging and complex. The foundation of Nova Scotia's Accessibility Act is to provide support and protect the rights of persons with disabilities to full inclusion and accessibility by the identification, prevention, and removal of accessibility barriers. The Halifax Regional Municipality's accessibility strategy promotes the removal of barriers to accessibility and inclusion of persons with disabilities in our spaces, services, employment, and information sharing. Whereas Access Awareness Week promotes the inclusion of all Nova Scotians with disabilities as full citizens within our communities, through public awareness, community partnerships, and education, this campaign aims to foster an environment of equal participation to persons with disabilities in the HRM. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Mike, and Deputy Mayor Kathy, on behalf of all of Halifax Regional Council, do hereby proclaim May 26th to June 1st, 2024 as Access Awareness Week in the Halifax Regional Municipality, dated in Halifax, Nova Scotia, the 27th day of May, 2024. Mike Savage, Mayor. That's the proclamation. And I want to, I also want to especially say thank you to Melissa, who's with us, who works in our Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And Kathy, she does a pretty good job for us, right?
Excellent.
She is really amazing. So, Melissa, thumbs up to you. The work that you do, we think you're pretty awesome. Thank you all. Merci beaucoup. Walalia.
Okay, obviously another height difference. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mike and Kathy. Partnership for Access Awareness Nova Scotia has, better known as PANS, continues to fully embrace the intent and meaning of Rick Hansen's Man in Motion tour. And yes, it has been 38 years. We continue to raise awareness on issues of accessibility and inclusion each year beginning the last Sunday of May Access Awareness Week is an opportunity that allows Nova Scotians to promote these issues to audiences from all walks of life. Through press conferences, forums, concerts, lectures, parades, panel discussions, we're all able to engage the broader community on issues that must not be ignored. This year's theme is Communities for All, taking action on access awareness. Barriers to inclusion are as much about attitude as they are about physical structure. While changing a municipal bylaw or enforcing legislation may technically remove barriers, it is by fostering attitudes of acceptance and responsibility that the real obstacles are overcome. Access Awareness Week addresses a fundamental step of positive change making. It is meant to set a positive, undaunted tone for the week because raising awareness is something everyone can contribute to. PANS aims to accomplish two things during the course of this week. One is to celebrate what has happened to increase accessibility and the potential of things to come. Formally, PANS achieves this with the presentation of the Mel Hebb Hourglass Action Awards, which we will witness a little later this morning, and the PANS Scholarships Luncheon that will be held later this week. Informally, PANS attempts to integrate this attitude into our approach to all things. We also aim to bring issues of access to the attention of the public and policymakers. And as often as it's been said, change can grow from the bottom up or it can be implemented from the top down. We want both to happen, with the movements meeting somewhere in between. At this point in time, I would like to invite Catherine and Taylor to come up and present the Mel Hebb Hourglass Awards.
Bon matin, morning. I'm Catherine Hebb. I'm actually Mel Hebb's favorite daughter. And I have with me one of my daughters, Taylor Carvery, who today you're my favorite because you're here.
I'm always the favorite.
And we may have to share, I should have wore higher heels. We may have to share this height, Taylor, but
That's fine.
here you go.
So the Hourglass Action Awards were launched in 1992. That year, the theme of the National Awareness Week was local community action. On one of the week's publications was the image of an hourglass. This hourglass inspired the award's name in its spirit of timely action. In 2000, the name of the award was changed from the Hourglass Action Awards to the Mel Hebb Hourglass Action Awards in honor of Mr. Melbourne Hebb, a former chair of the awards committee. The spirit of the award remains unchanged. Hebb, who passed away in October 1999, was the personification of dedicated action. His wry sense of humor could have been mistaken for grumpiness, but those who knew Mel Hebb knew differently. Hebb gave freely of himself. He put all of himself into everything he pursued. His life was a demonstration of the type of leadership and dedication the Hourglass Awards recognize. Contracting polio in 1942 at age 9, Hebb's days as a typical Lunenburg County farm boy ended. The disease stripped him of his ability to run, climb trees, and bathe and write. His paralysis becoming so complete that he couldn't even swat flies away from his face. But Hebb, who fought back with years of rehab and therapy, though he only regained 50% of normal functioning, Hebb's courage remained untouched. Hebb finished high school for correspondence. Overcoming the challenges of being in a wheelchair on campus that was often and remains less than wheelchair friendly, Hebb completed his Bachelor of Commerce degree at Dalhousie University. His interest in issues relating to access was born both out of desire for an equitable society and need born of his own desire for a full life. Hebb went on to jobs at New Leaf Enterprise, Dalhousie's print shop at Nova Scotia, and Nova Scotia Rehab Hospital. All of those positions demonstrated his work ethic and determination. He married Wanda, also a polio survivor, and raised two daughters. In 1996, he published an autobiography, Wheels to Victory, an account of painful times of his struggle and their overcoming. A member of the award committee for 4 years, two of those
Two of those as chair, Mel Hebb was an inspiration to the others involved and to all persons. Hebb passed away October 3rd, 1999. The following spring, the awards were renamed in his honor. Mel Hebb's wife, Wanda Hebb, was involved in the presentation of the awards until her passing in 2015. The Mel Hebb Hourglass Action Awards recognize Nova Scotians for their contributions to the lives of persons with disabilities. Recognizing that these contributions are varied and diverse, we have different awards to reflect the amazing work that is being done. We are starting with. Oh, sorry, Mom. No, it's okay. I almost took your.
Keep going. So we'll get into these in these special awards, and I just want to say to the award recipients that the spirit in which you are receiving this award today is really for justice and for speaking up, and for we have a lot of work to do in all areas of accessibility, and we all have to be a part of it. And so, really, the other thing that I think we talked about a lot as we were deciding who to bestow these special gifts to is it's not a solo sport having a disability. There's teams around all of us, and so I really thought a lot about my mom and my dad and how they really had a partnership that was why they could accomplish what they did. So I should probably put my glasses on because I can hear my mother's voice in my head saying, "You're old enough now. You have to put your glasses on, Heb." Um, so the first one is the Exceptional Service Award. And this award recognizes an organization or a member of an organization that has gone beyond their mandate and service to people with disabilities. This year, we are presenting the Exceptional Service Award to Dr. Sarah Moore. Sarah is speaking at a conference this week and is unable to attend today. So I would like to invite Van Bernard to accept Sarah's award on her behalf and say a few words.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, so much. I know that Sarah's not here today, and she definitely wish she could have been because this is something that is so important to her, that she has been to on multiple occasions. She would like to thank many, many people uh, for the reason of her acceptance of this award. Mainly Joanne Bernard, who nominated her and is helping out a lot with Easter Seals, which is a program that allows children and youth with disabilities to participate in sport. She absolutely loves what she does, which is being a professor at Dalhousie, but she also is involved in probably 100,000 other things. One of which is helping coach sports, including coaching me, and probably hundreds of other kids with disabilities, how to play sport, how to become a team, and really just helping so many other people. Sarah is an absolutely amazing person, and I'm sure she'd kill me if she heard me saying that to everyone. But she's an amazing person that gives her heart and maybe another heart to every single person to help improve them. And she is a huge advocate for accessibility. So, Sarah, I know you're not here, but I know you're watching us online. So, thank you for everything that you do.
Okay, the next one is the Encore Award. And this one is to recognize a person with a disability who has significantly contributed to the community. There's two winners for this one this year. So first one goes to Anne Hamosi, who is joining us virtually to accept the award. And I invite Anne to say a few words.
Your honor, guests and fellow award winners, I'm really humbled and honored to be nominated and chosen for this award. I offer my most sincere congratulations to the other award winners this year, especially my friend and neighbor Gary Maddy, who has been tireless in his work as a county councillor here in Antigonish. I'm really sorry I can't be there in person to accept it, but I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Sherry Carlson-Mans and Amanda Henry from NS Leo for all their help and especially their accommodation so I could participate virtually. And to Dr. Katie R. St. FX University, who nominated me. It's also having helped to award ceremony here in Antigonish because she knew how sorry I was not to be able to attend in Halifax. The list of Dr. Aubrich's research and active contributions to the disability community is award-winning in itself. I'd also like to thank everyone from PANS, the Partnership for Action Awareness Nova Scotia, for continuing to shine a light on disabilities and the need for access. I'm indebted to all previous winners who inspired me to act. I'm honored to roll in the wheelchair tracks of Mel Hebb, who I understand was the personification of dedicated action. I'd really like to thank his family and those who created this award, and I hope I can live up to his name. It's well known the disability rights movement began around the same time as the women's rights movement when I was a young girl, a very young girl, more than 60 years ago. More than 60 years later, many of us with disabilities, both visible and invisible, continue to advocate for inclusive and accessible quality of life. I, for one, will continue to speak for equitable access to all aspects of daily life, but especially for improvements to the built environment, public transportation, affordable, accessible housing, and especially equitable access to emergency management. I want to congratulate the mayor and everyone in Halifax, Erica Fleck, for instituting the Vulnerable Persons Registry there, and I really look forward to hopefully seeing it done province-wide. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I will strive to be worthy of this award. Thank you very much again.
Thanks, Anne. Anne will receive her hardware, your special award, Anne, at the proclamation ceremony at Antigonish. So enjoy. The next recipient for the Encore Award is Kaylin Lloyd, and I invite Kaylin to say a few words. They can... Yeah.
Thank you so much to PANS, to the award committee. It's such an incredible event that you put on here. I'm so honored to receive this award. I'm incredibly passionate about the work that I'm so privileged to do, and the real driver for that is that I want the youth with sight loss who come after me to have the same opportunities to succeed that I did. I want to thank Sarah Kuharski for nominating me, and to all those who have given me a platform to perform the important work. With as has been a theme in many of the speeches today, we have a long way to go. Specifically in my community, we're worried about cuts in the education system. and ways that we can make community programs more accessible for people with vision loss. Um, I'm I'm just incredibly honored to be the recipient of this award, and thank you all so much.
Safety first. Thanks, Selah. You're well, Billy looking. Okay, so we're moving on. You're great, Vicky. You're helping me because I feel like I'm a little. I should have a pen here. All right, so we're going on to the Access Award. So we're recognizing an individual, business, and group without a mandate to serve persons with disabilities that has worked to improve access to facilities or services in a given area. While changes made to a building specifically to improve accessibility are eligible, PANS regrets that improvements to accessibility that are mandated by the building code cannot be considered for these awards. This year, we are presenting the Access Award to Sophie Jones. Sophie Jones and her family are also joining virtually to accept this award.
So much for teamwork. Really like to thank Alex for nominating us because it was us to show that we're starting to make a difference, not just Sophie, but for others with disabilities. We believe that there needs to be a lot more help out there for kids with disabilities around us, the community world, and the access to it. Really, really important to the nomination and just making it more accessible and knowledgeable to other people here as we keep wanting to make a difference. So we petitioned to do that last year and we're working on a better petition and we just want to keep making a difference for these kids. Because once they're not given more shadow and some different help and I just it's what we're here for. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. So appreciate.
Thank you. That's great. So we're moving on now, Vicky, to the Youth Champion Awards, my favorite category. And it was so wonderful to see so many applicants in all of the categories that it was very difficult to make decisions. And we might have stretched things this year a little bit to give out more awards, but I can't comment further than that. I said I'll pay for the hardware. So the Youth Champion Award is to recognize a youth with a disability, so from grade 6 to grade 12, who has significantly contributed to raising awareness of disability issues and championing accessibility. This year we have a few awards, as I've said, to give out. Our first recipient for the Youth Champion Award is Naftali Tucker. And I invite Naftali did I do it right, Mom? I got coaching on the name. Naftali to come and say a few words, and Taylor and I are wearing your buttons. So, yeah. Too short.
Thank you to the Nova Scotia League for Equal Opportunities for honoring me with the Youth Champion Award. And thank you to my parents for helping me start Brainy Buttons so that I could advocate for other neurodivergent youth like me. After my autism diagnosis at 12, I felt that there was more advocacy needed for the neurodivergent community, so I decided to try and do something about it. Many autistic and neurodivergent children and youth feel like they have to hide who they are, and this can have negative effects on mental health. My mission with Brainy Buttons is to help neurodivergent people be accepted and celebrated. My goal is to educate people about the neurodivergent and disabled communities and how to support us, and to also advocate for better and more affordable access to autism and psych ed assessments for adults, teens, and children. To achieve this, I have been invited into schools to present in classrooms to students, to do PD Day presentations to staff, and put up display boards for Autism Acceptance Month. I've also done fundraisers at my school, ran a club for neurodivergent students, and donated neuro-affirming books and resources to schools. Thank you for this opportunity to spread my message of acceptance, and I hope that someday neurodivergent, autistic, and disabled people are accepted in this world, and we no longer need to advocate for support, understanding, and inclusion in our schools, workplaces, and in society as a whole.
So our next one is a co-award for the Youth Champion Award, and it goes to Van Bernard and Hadley Frittenberg. And I invite Van and Hadley to say a few words. Back up at the podium, Van.
I'm back. So I would like to thank everybody who made this possible. It's such a great honor to be here today and to be nominated by Dr. Sarah Moore. So thank you so much for the nomination. I'd also like to congratulate all the other people here who are receiving awards, because everybody in this room is here for a reason, and that's because they have done amazing things. I'd like to congratulate Mayor Mike for all of his years helping advocate for not only youth but people with disability, and making things like this happen year after year. So thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate the award.
Just like Van, I want to thank you, Dr. Sarah Moore, for nominating us, and really just reciprocate what Van said and just thank you for the nomination and thank you for being chosen.
Let me get your hardware. Okay, so now we would like to invite all the recipients to the front for a group photo. I'm just following the script. And those who work with me know I don't do that well, so. Go get in the photo. Great. Thank you. Congratulations. So we'd like to recognize that we have two recipients that will also be receiving Mel Hebb Hourglass Action Awards. at the municipality in the county of Richmond's event. So Inverness Development Association will be receiving one for the Community Action Award. And Councillor Gary Maddy, who was referred to earlier, will receive the Andre McConnell Award. So congratulations to all our award recipients. And I'll pass the mic back to Sherry to close us off.
Oh, Catherine, I thought we were the same height. Thank you, Taylor and Catherine. And congratulations again to our award recipients for your contributions to your communities, to our communities, and to the inclusion of persons with disabilities. This was a great way to start off Access Awareness Week, and we are so pleased to have so many new partners at the table and to see the growth that's happening around the province, around issues around accessibility, inclusion, and disabilities. I would like to extend a thank you on behalf of the PANS Committee to Mayor Mike Savage for the proclamation, to all the award recipients, their supporters, and your contributions to the communities. There are many events that are going to be happening around the province this week, including a flag raising at our provincial proclamation province house. That's going to be the first time in the history of the province. So we're very excited about that. At 1 p.m. this afternoon. So if you're in town, we encourage you to come and see the flag raising and hear the proclamation. I hope you all have a wonderful week and celebrating awareness and inclusion. Thank you all for coming.